Welcome to Zoe Stories. My best friend's mommy. I can't believe this happened. I thought it was just a casual visit, but the moment I stepped inside, everything I knew about myself shattered. I had always been quiet, the kind of guy who faded into the background in high school and college alike. My world revolved around routines, classes, a part-time job at the bookstore, and Friday nights with my best friend, Jason. It was simple, predictable, and safe. That Friday started like any other. Jason called me, voice casual, a hint of excitement I hadn't heard before. "Hey man, my mom invited you over tonight. She's making dinner, wants to meet you. You in?" I hesitated, nervously adjusting the strap of my backpack. I had met Jason's mom before, briefly, at a barbecue last summer. Polite smiles, casual conversation. But something about her always made me feel off balance. She had a commanding presence, eyes sharp yet warm, and a smile that hinted she could see right through you. Sure. I guess," I said, trying to sound nonchalant. The drive to their house was quiet. I rehearsed polite greetings, casual compliments, even jokes to avoid awkward silences. But my mind kept wandering. What if I said something wrong? What if she judged me? Jason's house was larger than I remembered, a mixture of contemporary elegance and a hint of old money sophistication. When we entered, the smell of freshly baked bread and scented candles hit me. Jason's mom, Vanessa, appeared from the kitchen, perfectly dressed, hair immaculate, and her presence overwhelming. "Welcome, Alex," she said, her voice low and soft but commanding. "Jason tells me so much about you. Come, sit. Dinner will be ready shortly." I nodded, heart racing, trying to meet her gaze without faltering. There was something about the way she looked at me, an intensity that made me shift uncomfortably in my seat. Dinner was pleasant but strange. Vanessa dominated the conversation, her questions precise, sometimes teasing, probing into areas of my life I hadn't expected to share. I laughed nervously, feeling her eyes linger on me longer than necessary. Jason didn't seem to notice, lost in casual chatter, leaving me exposed. After dinner, she suggested something I didn't expect. "Alex," Vanessa said, smiling sweetly, "I need a favor. Something unusual. Would you trust me?" I blinked, uncertain. Sure, I guess." She leaned closer, voice lowering. "I want to try something, an experiment. You've always admired style and beauty, haven't you? I have a collection of outfits, makeup, accessories. I want you to experience it. Fully. You'll learn to walk, dress, even speak differently. Think of it as exploring a different side of yourself." My stomach twisted. Part of me wanted to say no, to laugh it off. But another part, curious, anxious, a little thrill bubbling in my chest, hesitated. I felt drawn into her orbit, as if her presence alone made resistance impossible. I don't know," I stammered. "Don't think," she interrupted softly, placing a hand over mine. "Just experience. Trust me. Tonight, you'll be someone new, someone beautiful." I didn't understand how, but something inside me gave in. The thrill of submission, the curiosity, the way her fingers pressed lightly against mine. It was intoxicating. I nodded. Vanessa smiled knowingly. "Good. I'll prepare everything. You'll begin in the living room, step by step. And Alex," her eyes glimmered, "no one else will see you. Not yet. This is between us." I sat back, heart pounding, as Vanessa disappeared into her dressing room. My mind was a tornado. Fear, anticipation, curiosity, and a whispering excitement. By the time she returned, she carried a small box filled with silk fabrics, high heels, delicate jewelry, and what looked like subtle makeup kits. She placed it gently on the coffee table. "Your journey begins now," she said, voice soft, commanding, and impossible to resist. I looked down at the items, my hands trembling. For the first time in my life, I felt powerless, excited, and terrified all at once. Vanessa tilted my chin up, her gaze locking with mine. "Alex or Alina? The choice is simple, but once it begins, there's no going back." My pulse surged. My mind raced. What had I just agreed to? I never imagined that slipping into silk and heels could make my heart race like this, or terrify me beyond reason. Vanessa returned carrying a carefully folded outfit. The fabric shimmered under the living room lights, a soft pastel dress, delicate lace along the hem. My hands trembled as she laid it on the couch. Next to it, a pair of strappy heels, a small makeup palette, and a wig with cascading curls completed the ensemble. "Alex," she said softly, her eyes locking with mine, "this isn't just about clothing. This is about stepping into someone new. Someone beautiful. Are you ready?" I hesitated, swallowing hard. My pulse was racing, every nerve alive with tension. I think so," I whispered.
Good.
"Step by step," Vanessa said, smiling warmly yet firmly. "We start with the basics." I sat on the edge of the couch as she guided me through the delicate process. The first step was removing my clothes, my familiar armor, and slipping into the soft lingerie she provided. Heat flushed my cheeks. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and strangely excited. Vanessa's hands were gentle, guiding me without touch, but with words that seemed to reach straight into my mind. "You're safe," she murmured. "Let yourself feel everything." Next came the dress. Sliding into the silky fabric, I felt a thrill I hadn't anticipated. The material hugged my body differently than anything I had worn before, reshaping me, transforming me into an entirely new silhouette. My chest rose awkwardly, the curves strange yet thrilling. Then came the wig. Vanessa adjusted the curls around my face, framing it with perfect symmetry. I hardly recognized myself in the mirror. "Look," she said, guiding me to the full-length mirror. "See what you can become." I stared at the reflection. My face, softened by makeup, framed by flowing curls, looked feminine. Beautiful, even. But beneath the surface, panic simmered. This wasn't me. This wasn't Alex. And yet, the reflection whispered otherwise. Vanessa's voice broke through the storm of emotions. "Now, the shoes. Stand slowly. Feel your balance." I slid into the heels, wobbled, then took a hesitant step. My legs felt foreign, my posture altered, my mind racing with embarrassment and exhilaration. Each step was a battle between fear and thrill. Vanessa guided me gently, correcting my stance, coaxing me into a graceful sway. "You're learning quickly," she said, voice soft, almost teasing.
See?
"You can be this person, this version of yourself." I couldn't breathe. My reflection smiled back at me, radiant and unrecognizable. My cheeks burned, a mixture of humiliation, excitement, and something deeper. A thrill I hadn't expected surged within me as Vanessa circled me, inspecting every detail. Then came the most unexpected moment. Vanessa's hand brushed mine lightly. "Beautiful," she whispered. My heart skipped. My mind spiraled. It was a single word, yet it felt like a verdict and a reward, a promise and a trap all at once. I wanted to protest, to deny it, to cling to Alex, but the reflection, the heels, the curls, the thrill of submission held me in place. Alina, the persona that Vanessa whispered into existence, was stirring. Vanessa leaned close, eyes gleaming. "Tonight, we take her out. The world hasn't seen Alina yet, and I want to see how she shines in public." I froze. My pulse raced. Public exposure? Out in the world like this? Panic surged, and somewhere deep down, a tiny, forbidden thrill whispered that maybe, just maybe, I wanted it. I thought I was invisible, but today, the world saw me, and it wasn't what I expected. The evening air was heavy with the scent of rain as Vanessa led me out of her sleek townhouse. I stumbled slightly in the heels, feeling exposed, vulnerable, and oddly alive. The city streets stretched before me like a stage, every passerby a potential witness. My reflection in the shop windows caught my eye. Alina stared back. Bold, radiant, unrecognizable, and intoxicatingly real. "Relax," Vanessa murmured, slipping her arm through mine. "It's just a short walk. Feel the world notice you." I nodded, though my heart pounded violently. The sounds of the city, horns, chatter, footsteps, felt amplified, each one a heartbeat in sync with my own. Every glance from strangers felt like a spotlight, every whisper like an accusation. Then it happened. A voice, a familiar one, warm and teasing, cut through the urban symphony. "Alina?" I froze. The world slowed. I turned, and there, leaning against a lamppost, was Ryan, Jason's younger cousin. He had known Alex for years, laughing at inside jokes and shared secrets. Recognition flared in his eyes, confusion mingling with something, admiration. My lips parted, panic and excitement clashing. I'm... Vanessa's hand rested lightly on my back, steadying me. "Sho," she whispered. "Just be her. Alina." I drew a deep breath, forcing my voice into the melodic, unfamiliar cadence Vanessa had coached me on. "Alina, nice to see you." Ryan's eyes widened. "Wow, you look really different." He stepped closer, curiosity shining in his gaze. "I mean, beautiful. You wow." Heat surged through me, a mix of embarrassment, thrill, and confusion. Every compliment felt like fire on my skin, igniting something both terrifying and addictive. Alex would have stammered, ducked, run. Alina stood her ground. Vanessa smiled faintly, watching me like a hawk. "See? You can command attention without a word. Let it wash over you." Ryan chuckled softly. I mean, Alex would never. Wow. You're Alina, huh? I nodded, words failing me. Every step, every glance, every heartbeat screamed that this was real. The persona Vanessa had sculpted wasn't just clothes or makeup. It was power, danger, and freedom all tangled together. Then came a twist I hadn't anticipated. From across the street, someone else appeared, a former classmate, someone who had teased Alex mercilessly years ago. Their eyes widened as they spotted me. They pointed, laughing, and a small crowd began to notice. Whispers turned into stares. Phones appeared, snapping pictures. Panic surged, my chest tightening. I wanted to run, to collapse into Alex, to hide. But Vanessa's hand was firm on my arm, her eyes cold and commanding. "Do not run," she said. "Stand tall. This is your world now. Alina owns it." I forced myself to breathe, heels clicking sharply on the wet pavement. Every laugh, every phone camera, every whisper became a drumbeat, and I matched it with my own heartbeat, building confidence I didn't know I had. Ryan stepped closer, shielding me slightly from the crowd. "Ignore them," he said softly. "You look amazing." "Really?" The adrenaline surged. Embarrassment twisted into exhilaration. The whispers, the stares, the danger, they fueled Alina, made her sharper, bolder. Alex would have crumbled under the scrutiny. But Alina? She thrived. Just as I began to relax, Vanessa's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, lips tightening. "Change of plan," she said. "Someone important is on their way, and they're coming for you, Alina." My blood ran cold. The city lights reflected in my eyes as I realized Alina had just stepped into a world where every exposure, every recognition, could destroy her. The doorbell rang, and in that instant, my entire world tilted on its axis. I wasn't ready for who would step inside. Alina's heels clicked softly on the marble floor as I paced Vanessa's living room, the city lights casting fractured patterns through the large windows. The excitement from the public encounter earlier had not faded. If anything, it pulsed in my veins, mingling with the gnawing anxiety that Vanessa's cryptic phone call had sparked. Then the doorbell. Sharp. Insistent. My stomach sank. Vanessa's brow arched, her calm aura suddenly sharpened with a hint of anticipation. "I wasn't expecting anyone," I muttered, my voice higher than I was used to. "Alina." That voice. Every time I spoke it, a part of Alex recoiled, but the other part reveled in it. Vanessa glided to the door, her presence magnetic, and opened it with a flourish. Standing there was someone I had never imagined would appear tonight, Mrs. Callahan, Jason's mother's close friend, A woman with a presence so commanding it felt as though the air itself bent around her. She wasn't just a casual visitor. She radiated scrutiny, dominance, and curiosity. "Vanessa," she said, her voice smooth, confident, almost predatory. Then her gaze landed on me, Alina, and her eyebrows lifted. "And who do we have here?" My heart pounded violently. Recognition flickered. This woman had known Alex. Her eyes narrowed slightly, scanning me with the precision of a jeweler inspecting a diamond. She tilted her head, and that single gesture felt like a scalpel dissecting my new identity. "Alina," Vanessa said lightly, with a tone that carried both pride and warning. "Meet someone important." Mrs. Callahan's gaze lingered on me, evaluating, almost amused. "Interesting," she murmured. "I see a familiar energy, but not quite the person I expected." My fingers trembled. The silk of my dress felt suddenly heavy, my legs wobbled slightly in the heels, and my breath came fast. I wanted to retreat, to collapse into Alex, but Alina held me upright, poised and fragile all at once. Vanessa stepped closer, a protective shadow. "She's new to the world tonight. Give her a moment." Mrs. Callahan smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, I intend to observe. There's potential here. But she's walking a fine line, isn't she?" I flinched. The words hit deep, like a verdict. Potential or exposure. I could feel Alina trembling inside me, the exhilaration and fear interwoven in a tight coil. I'm Alina," I managed, voice trembling slightly but melodic. The words felt like a confession, a surrender, and an assertion all at once. Mrs. Callahan tilted her head again, a slow, deliberate smile forming. "Alina," she repeated, testing the name on her tongue. "Well, let's see how long she can maintain it." Her gaze was electric, dissecting me, stripping away layers until I felt both invisible and hypervisible at once. I could feel Alex flickering at the edges of my mind, protesting silently. Alina, however, stiffened in response. She wouldn't run. She wouldn't hide. Not yet. Vanessa placed a firm hand on my shoulder, grounding me. "This is part of the journey," she whispered. "Do not flinch. She's testing you, and you will pass." The visitor stepped closer, circling me slowly, as if inspecting a delicate work of art. "You have charm," she said finally, voice soft but laced with power. "But charm alone won't suffice. The world is watching, and one misstep could unravel her entirely." My chest tightened, a mixture of dread and thrill. Every word, every step, every glance from Mrs. Callahan felt like a challenge, an unspoken test. I realized that tonight wasn't just about Alina being beautiful. It was about Alina surviving scrutiny, maintaining composure under intense psychological pressure. Then she leaned closer, voice almost a whisper. "Tell me, does she enjoy this? Or is she merely afraid?" My knees weakened. Vanessa's eyes flashed a warning at me. "Stand tall. Own it." Alina's reflection in the polished floor-length mirror seemed to grin back, confident, poised, and terrifyingly aware of the stakes. Mrs. Callahan stepped back, a smirk playing on her lips. "I think I'll be seeing her again very soon. And next time, the world will be watching too." I froze, the echo of her words settling in my chest. Alina was no longer just a persona in Vanessa's living room. She was a target, a spectacle, and a test whose rules I had yet to understand. I never imagined walking into a cafe could feel like stepping into a battlefield, but today, every eye was a judge, and every heartbeat counted. Vanessa's SUV glided through the city streets, and my heart hammered against my ribcage. I glanced at the reflection in the tinted window. Alina's eyes wide, cheeks flushed, wig perfectly in place, dress clinging just right. But underneath the perfection, Alex trembled, questioning every choice that had led me here. "This is just a test," Vanessa said softly, her hand brushing mine for reassurance. "Nothing more. Just a small cafe. People will look. You will be beautiful. That's all that matters." I swallowed hard. My hands were clammy, my heels clicking nervously against the floor mat. A cafe," I whispered, voice high and unfamiliar. Yes, Vanessa said, eyes gleaming. A place full of strangers. You'll walk, talk, even order. And I want every movement perfect. When we arrived, I froze. The cafe was crowded, casual chatter blending with the clatter of cups and spoons. The smell of coffee and pastries filled the air. My heels felt impossibly tall, my legs shaky beneath the dress. People glanced as we entered. Whispers tickled my ears. Vanessa gave my hand a reassuring squeeze.
Go.
Show them, Alina. Step by step, I moved forward. Every eye in the room seemed to fixate on me, scanning, judging. Every heartbeat was a drum of terror and thrill. Then, something I hadn't anticipated. A group of college students, one of whom had known Alex in class, turned and stared. Recognition flashed in their eyes, then curiosity, then disbelief. I felt the familiar churn of panic, Alex's instinct to flee screaming in my mind. Vanessa's grip tightened slightly. Stand tall. Smile. This is your moment. I forced a gentle smile, my voice trembling slightly as I ordered a coffee. One cappuccino, please. The barista's raised eyebrows didn't help. Every movement felt exaggerated, every word amplified. One of the students whispered loudly enough for me to hear. Is that Alex? I froze. My cheeks burned. Vanessa leaned close, whispering, Alina doesn't freeze. Alina owns it. Summoning every ounce of courage, I straightened my back and continued. The whispers persisted, but I could feel a shift. Alina was no longer just hiding. She was performing, thriving, absorbing the attention. Panic began to transform into exhilaration, embarrassment into a strange confidence. Then a sudden jolt of tension. The cafe door opened, and the unexpected visitor from earlier, Mrs. Callahan, stepped inside, scanning the room. Her eyes locked on me. A small smirk played across her lips. You've brought her out, she said, voice calm but with a sharp edge. Interesting. Very interesting. Vanessa gave my hand a firm squeeze. Keep walking, keep talking, keep being her. Don't falter. Every step felt like a test. My heels clicked against the polished floor, wig swaying, dress fluttering slightly with each movement. The whispers, the stares, the silent judgment, they all fused into a heartbeat that I matched perfectly. Alina was no longer just a persona. She was emerging, fully realized, thrilling and terrifying in equal measure. As I reached the counter, Mrs. Callahan leaned closer to Vanessa and whispered something inaudible, but the intensity of her gaze suggested a threat. My pulse spiked. What did she say? I asked, voice tight. Vanessa smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. She said, someone from your past is about to walk in, and they're going to remember Alex very clearly. The cafe noise blurred into a roar in my ears. My knees wobbled. Alina's reflection in the shiny counterglass stared back, poised, beautiful, but trembling. The moment stretched. The unknown arrival was seconds away. Every heartbeat, every whisper, every flicker of light seemed to count. The moment their eyes met mine, the world stopped, and Alex's carefully hidden past threatened to unravel in an instant. The cafe door swung open again, and the chime cut through the ambient noise like a gunshot. My heart froze. There, framed in the doorway, was Sam, my childhood friend and former neighbor, someone who had known Alex better than anyone. His eyes scanned the room casually, then froze as they locked onto me. I felt my stomach plummet. Every ounce of composure I had built as Alina threatened to evaporate. This was the one person who knew me inside and out, who would instantly see through the dress, the wig, the makeup, the persona Vanessa had carefully molded. Alex. His voice was tentative, confused, almost incredulous. I stumbled slightly in my heels. Vanessa's hand on my back steadied me, but I felt a surge of panic ripple through every nerve. My mind raced. No, I can't be caught. Not yet. Not him. I forced a soft laugh, tilting my head like Alina. No, I'm Alina. My voice wavered, but I tried to maintain the melodic cadence Vanessa had taught me. Sam blinked, hesitation flashing across his features. He took a cautious step closer. Alina? His tone was skeptical, curiosity and recognition warring in his expression. Every muscle in my body tensed. I felt Alex screaming from somewhere deep inside me, begging me to run, to strip away the persona, to be myself again. But Alina, the version Vanessa had created, stood rooted. She tilted her chin, smiled nervously, and tried to embody confidence she didn't entirely feel. Vanessa stepped slightly in front of me, her presence protective yet controlling. "She's new," Vanessa said smoothly. "A new version of herself. Alina, remember, she belongs to the moment." Sam's gaze flicked between me and Vanessa, suspicion mounting. I swear you're Alex. This isn't. I don't understand." I felt my chest tighten. Heat flushed my face, my legs quivering beneath the heels. Every whisper from bystanders felt like fire against my skin. Alina was supposed to be in control, but the sudden confrontation was a storm I hadn't prepared for. Then, something unexpected happened. Sam smiled softly, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "You're really committed to this, huh?" I never thought I'd see Alex like this. The words hit me like a blow. Embarrassment, humiliation, and a twisted thrill collided inside me. My reflection in the cafe window showed a girl standing poised, confident, yet trembling. Alex's old self lurked at the edges, terrified of exposure. Vanessa leaned close, whispering in my ear, "Control the narrative. Don't let recognition break you. Alina thrives on their attention. Use it." I drew a shaky breath. Alina's lips curved into a more assured smile. "Yes, I'm Alina," I said firmly, my voice gaining strength with each syllable. "And tonight, I'm exactly who I need to be." Sam's brow furrowed slightly, intrigued and amused. "Well, you've certainly changed," he said, voice teasing yet gentle. "But there's something undeniably real about this version of you." The tension hung in the air. The whispers of the cafe patrons, the clatter of coffee cups, and the soft hum of the music blurred together. I realized then that Alina wasn't just surviving exposure. She was captivating attention, bending reality in a way Alex never could. Suddenly, Vanessa's phone buzzed violently. She glanced at the screen, eyes narrowing. "They know you're here," she muttered, her voice tight. "And they're coming, all of them. Alina, this is no longer a private test." My pulse thundered. Every eye in the cafe suddenly seemed like a threat. Every heartbeat was a countdown. Alina's reflection smiled in the glass, but deep down, Alex's terror screamed. The moment of total exposure was upon us. The moment they surrounded me, laughter and whispers filling the air, I realized there was no hiding anymore. I had to face every secret at once. The cafe's cozy atmosphere had shifted into something tense, electric, and suffocating. The door swung open again, and a small group of people I knew, former classmates, friends, even one of my childhood neighbors, stepped in, murmuring among themselves. Recognition flashed in their eyes the instant they spotted me. "Alina or Alex?" One of them whispered loudly enough to reach me. I froze, the heels beneath me suddenly feeling like towers of instability. Vanessa's hand tightened around mine, grounding me, reminding me to breathe, to embody Alina. But inside, Alex screamed, panic clawing at my chest. One of my former classmates, Kevin, stepped closer, pointing subtly at me. "Wait, is that really Alex? You can't be serious." His voice carried disbelief, curiosity, and that teasing familiarity that made my stomach knot. Vanessa leaned slightly toward me, whispering, "Own it. Alina thrives in the spotlight. They will see only what you show them." I drew a shaky breath, straightening my back and lifting my chin. Alina took over completely now, her voice smooth, melodic, confident. "Yes, I'm Alina," I said, letting the words fall naturally. "And I'm here tonight to enjoy myself." The group laughed nervously, intrigued, uncertain. Some whispers turned into chuckles, others into murmurs of admiration. They weren't just recognizing me, they were witnessing transformation. Every glance felt like a scalpel, cutting through old identity, exposing Alina fully. Then Vanessa stepped forward, her gaze sweeping the group with calculated dominance.
You're here to see her, yes.
But remember, Alina decides what she reveals. Her tone sent a shiver through me. She had created me, guided me, and now she was defending me while also testing me. One of my former classmates, Sarah, tilted her head, scrutinizing my makeup and dress. She looks stunning, she admitted softly. I can't believe it's the same Alex. A surge of conflicting emotions hit me. Pride, humiliation, fear, and exhilaration all collided. I wanted to flee, to strip away Alina and run back to the comfort of Alex. But Alina was strong. Alina was visible. And Alina was beautiful. Then came the revelation that made my pulse spike. Mrs. Callahan, the unexpected visitor from before, had followed us into the cafe. She leaned slightly to Vanessa, whispering something that made Vanessa's eyes narrow. They know everything, she said softly. What do you mean? I whispered, fear curling around my chest. Vanessa's lips curved into a faint smile, one that was both reassuring and ominous. They've found out about the pills, the transformation, and about Alex's past life. Tonight, Alina faces the ultimate test. My knees wobbled. Every eye in the cafe felt like it was drilling into me. Alina's reflection in the window showed confidence, but the trembling Alex inside me screamed for escape. The confrontation was no longer just social, it was personal, psychological, and terrifyingly public. Then Sarah stepped closer, voice soft but piercing. Alina, you're amazing. But are you okay? I mean, is this really you? I swallowed, my lips trembling. I'm Alina, I said firmly, but my hands shook. This is who I am tonight. The group murmured in awe. Even as Alex's inner panic surged, I could feel Alina's thrill, the intoxicating mix of fear, beauty, and exposure. Every word, every glance, every whisper fueled the dual identity, forcing me to confront what I wanted and what I feared. Just as I began to catch my breath, Vanessa's phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen, eyes narrowing. They're coming. More of them. And this time they want answers. My chest tightened. Every eye in the cafe now seemed like a judge, every heartbeat a countdown. Alina was alive, visible, and beautiful, but Alex was teetering on the edge of total exposure. And tonight, there would be no turning back. Vanessa's smirk told me this wasn't just another outing. Tonight, I would either rise as Alina or crumble under every stare. The evening sky was painted in streaks of orange and violet as Vanessa guided me into a sleek, upscale boutique, a place dripping with elegance and judgment. My heels clicked sharply on the polished floor, each step echoing through the silence, my nerves dancing in tandem with every reflection I caught in the mirrors lining the walls. This is it, Vanessa murmured, her fingers brushing mine lightly. Tonight isn't about just being Alina. Tonight you prove it. My stomach churned. The boutique was buzzing with wealthy, confident women, some chatting, some sipping champagne. All of them glanced at me as we entered. Eyes scanned me, curiosity flashing in their glances. My cheeks burned, but Alina forced herself upright, shoulders back, chin high. Then she appeared, Mrs. Callahan, stepping gracefully through the doorway, surveying the room like a queen on her throne. Her gaze fell on me instantly, and my pulse quickened. There was no hiding, no retreat. Every eye in the room was a judge, every whisper a trial. Alina, Vanessa said softly, guiding me closer to the center of the room. Show them who you are. Walk, talk, breathe, and do not falter. I swallowed hard, heels threatening to betray me as I took the first step. Mirrors reflected my image from every angle, Alina, poised, radiant, trembling beneath the surface. My heart pounded violently, each beat a drum of exhilaration and fear. Then came the challenge. Vanessa handed me a designer dress, silk and lace, delicate, yet daring. Change, she said firmly. And don't just wear it, be it. Alina's fingers shook as I slipped out of the previous outfit, skin tingling under the brush of soft fabric. I could feel every inch of myself being reshaped, shoulders narrower, chest subtly padded, hips accentuated. Makeup touched up flawlessly. Eyeliner thickened, lips painted a soft rose, cheeks flushed with blush. Every detail meticulously crafted by Vanessa, every brushstroke a step further from Alex. A group of women circled, their laughter soft but tinged with curiosity and amusement. "She's bold," one whispered. "Look at her owning it." I swallowed, walking slowly, deliberately. Every step was a test. Every glance, every whisper, every reflection in the mirrors screamed that Alex was fading and Alina was emerging fully, beautiful but terrifyingly exposed. Then Mrs. Callahan stepped closer, her eyes gleaming. "Yes, this is promising. But confidence isn't enough. How do you handle temptation, attention, scrutiny?" My breath caught. The weight of the moment crushed my chest, but Alina stood tall. "I handle it," I said firmly, voice melodic, tremor hidden beneath practiced control. The group erupted into soft applause, a ripple of admiration and judgment blending into a single, intoxicating sensation. I felt exposed, humiliated, powerful, and free, all at once. Vanessa's eyes sparkled with pride, yet her grip on my wrist reminded me, this was still a test. Suddenly, the boutique doors swung open again, and a familiar figure appeared, Ryan, the boy from the streets earlier, watching me intently. His gaze met mine, and a flicker of recognition and fascination ignited. The mix of his stare and Mrs. Callahan's piercing gaze made my knees weak, yet Alina remained upright, a goddess walking the fine line between vulnerability and control. As I posed in front of the full-length mirror, lights catching every detail, Vanessa's voice whispered behind me, "They're about to judge you, and this time, one mistake could unravel everything." I felt my reflection staring back, radiant and trembling simultaneously. Alina had never been more alive or more at risk, and I knew, deep down, that nothing would ever be the same again. Every compliment felt like a blade, and every glance was a test I wasn't sure I could pass. The boutique's air shimmered with a soft hum of conversation and clinking glasses. I stood in the center of the room, Alina fully formed, radiant in the silk dress Vanessa had chosen. But beneath the polished exterior, Alex's nerves clawed at my chest. Vanessa hovered nearby, her eyes sharp, observing every interaction. Mrs. Callahan lingered at the edge of the crowd, a predator studying her prey. And then, Ryan stepped forward, moving with a confidence that made my stomach twist. "You're stunning," he said softly, eyes locking with mine. His gaze lingered in a way that made my pulse spike. I felt heat rushing through me, not just embarrassment, but something deeper, something dangerous. Alina's lips curved into a polite smile, but my hands shook slightly. Vanessa's grip on my wrist was grounding, yet subtly commanding. She whispered, "Keep composure. Do not falter." I nodded, though the tremor in my voice betrayed me. Thank you," I said, trying to sound graceful. Every word felt like walking a tightrope. Ryan stepped closer, his hand brushing mine casually, or so it seemed. My heart raced. The sensation was intoxicating, thrilling, terrifying. Every instinct screamed both flee and lean in. Then Vanessa's voice, low but firm, sliced through the tension. "Alina, remember who you are. You control the attention. You own it." I nodded again, grounding myself in the persona. But as Ryan continued to compliment, his proximity and warmth blurred the edges of Alina and Alex. I felt a twinge of doubt. Could I trust Vanessa? Could I trust the situation? Then the betrayal came, a whisper from Mrs. Callahan, just loud enough for Vanessa to hear. "Watch how quickly they bend, and how fragile she really is." Vanessa's eyes narrowed slightly, and I realized the challenge had escalated. This wasn't just about walking, talking, and looking beautiful anymore. It was about resisting temptation, asserting control, and surviving scrutiny. Ryan smiled, leaning in just slightly, his voice soft, magnetic. I've never seen anyone like you. My knees wobbled. Every fiber of my being screamed. Alex wanted to flee. Alina wanted to shine. The conflicting desires collided violently. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and strangely exhilarated. Vanessa placed a hand on my shoulder, grounding me once more. Your choice, she said, voice sharp. Alina chooses.
Not them.
Not Alex. You. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to stand tall. The applause from some of the boutique's patrons mixed with whispers of admiration and disbelief. Alina's confidence surged, even as Alex's fear lingered in the corners of my mind. Suddenly, Mrs. Callahan stepped forward, voice smooth but cutting. Impressive, but the real test begins when the doors close, and the world stops watching. Are you ready for that? My reflection in the boutique mirror seemed to flicker, Alina poised and radiant, Alex trembling beneath. I realized then that tonight wasn't just about beauty or poise. It was about trust, control, and the courage to embrace or resist the transformation fully. Behind closed doors, with no audience but shadows and mirrors, I finally had to face myself and decide who I really was. The boutique emptied, leaving only the faint echo of our footsteps on the polished floor. Vanessa guided me through a discreet door at the back, leading to a private lounge bathed in soft golden light. The air smelled of warm wood and subtle perfume, intimate, silent, and heavy with anticipation. This is it, Vanessa said softly, closing the door behind us. No one is watching. No applause, no whispers. Just you and what you choose to be. My heels clicked lightly against the hardwood, each step echoing like a countdown in my ears. The mirror along one wall reflected Alina, poised, elegant, radiant, and Alex, the boy beneath, trembling, uncertain. I stared at the reflection, heart pounding, pulse screaming. Vanessa moved closer, voice a whisper that carried authority and warmth simultaneously. Look at her.
Who do you see?
The world sees Alina. But you, what do you feel? I swallowed, voice catching in my throat. I feel like I'm disappearing, I admitted. But also, like I've never felt this alive. Vanessa's lips curved faintly. Exactly. This is the moment you decide. Are you Alina? Or do you cling to Alex? I sank onto a chaise lounge, the silk of my dress soft beneath me, trembling as my fingers traced the fabric. Memories of my old life, friendships, routines, expectations, clashed violently with the intoxicating freedom and attention Alina brought. The mirrors reflected both selves, merging and diverging in impossible patterns. Then Vanessa produced a small box. Inside, a token. A choice. It represents the path you take. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside lay a delicate bracelet, etched with tiny letters spelling Alina. I traced the engraving, feeling a thrill I couldn't ignore, a warmth spreading through my chest. Every fiber of Alex resisted, but Alina surged forward, whispering promises of beauty, power, and transformation. I don't know if I can, I faltered, voice breaking. Vanessa kneeled beside me, eyes locking onto mine. You can. You will. But only if you choose. No one is forcing you. This is yours. Will you let Alina live fully? Tears pricked my eyes. The weight of the choice was unbearable. One path meant embracing Alina, letting go of Alex entirely. The other meant clinging to Alex, abandoning the beauty, the attention, the thrill, but keeping what little familiarity remained. Then the private reckoning deepened. A knock at the door, soft but insistent. Mrs. Callahan's voice whispered through the crack. It's time. The world wants answers. Are you ready to show them who you are or who you were? My heart stopped. Every instinct screamed retreat, yet Alina's presence, the thrill, the empowerment, fused into something undeniable. I realized then that there was no going back. Cliffhanger. I held the bracelet in trembling hands, staring at my reflection. Alina's eyes gleamed back at me, bold and defiant, while Alex's fear lingered like a shadow. The decision was mine, and the next step would change everything. Every eye on me burned like fire. I was exposed, transformed, and there was no turning back. The city skyline glittered as Vanessa led me through the doors of an upscale rooftop lounge. The space was alive with chatter, clinking glasses, and soft music, but all I could feel was the weight of every pair of eyes turning toward me as we entered. This was it, the moment Alina would step into the world and face its scrutiny. My heart thundered in my chest, legs trembling under the polished heels. Vanessa's hand on my back was both grounding and commanding, reminding me to move like Alina, not Alex. I drew a shaky breath, staring at my reflection in the mirrored panels lining the wall. Alina's eyes stared back, radiant and defiant, while Alex's trembled beneath the surface, panicked and exposed. Vanessa leaned close, her voice soft but firm. Alina, own it. Every glance, every whisper. They are yours to command. I nodded, feeling a surge of adrenaline. The crowd noticed immediately, the soft murmur rising as people observed the elegant, stunning girls stepping forward. Every head turned, every whisper stretched my nerves taut like a wire. I felt exposed, humiliated, thrilled all at once. Then came the murmurs I dreaded most. Recognition. A group of familiar faces from my past had arrived, the same classmates, neighbors, and even Ryan from the boutique encounter. Their eyes widened in shock, curiosity, and some amusement. My cheeks flamed. Alex's instinct screamed to flee, to strip away Alina and hide, but the thrill of being seen, truly seen as Alina, was intoxicating. Alina, Ryan whispered, stepping closer, his gaze lingering with fascination. You're incredible. I felt a tremor pass through my body, both nervous and electric. Vanessa's hand squeezed mine, reminding me to stand tall. Remember, she whispered, you chose this. You control this. You are Alina. I forced a graceful smile, my posture perfect, voice soft and melodic. Thank you. I'm embracing this fully. Gasps and whispers rippled through the crowd. Some admired, some laughed quietly, some seemed incredulous, but every single person was watching me. Every glance was a test, every whisper a judgment. Yet Alina thrived under it, feeding on the attention, the fear, the thrill. Then came the unexpected twist. A reporter from a local magazine, camera in hand, approached with a beaming smile. Alina, stunning as ever. Can we take a few photos? My knees wobbled. Exposure, attention, scrutiny. Everything Alex feared was happening at once. I glanced at Vanessa. Her eyes were sharp, proud, commanding. Go, she said simply. Own it. I stepped forward, letting the flashes illuminate every detail of Alina, her hair, her makeup, her posture, her smile. The thrill of public recognition collided with my terror. Alex would have crumbled. Alina thrived. Just as the crowd erupted in applause, a familiar voice cut through the noise. Alex, what did you do? My heart froze. I turned slowly, and there, at the edge of the terrace, was someone who knew my deepest secret. A friend, someone I thought I could trust. The smile on Alina's face faltered for just a moment, and the world seemed to tilt. Exposure, judgment, revelation. It all came crashing down at once. The words hit me like a storm. I couldn't hide anymore, and Alina's reflection stared back, daring me to speak the truth. The rooftop party's chatter faded into a background hum as I felt the weight of recognition pressing against my chest. That familiar voice, sharp, incredulous, and tinged with betrayal, had rooted me in place. Alex, what did you do? It was Michael, my childhood friend. His eyes, wide with disbelief, darted between Alina and me. Panic surged through me. Alex wanted to flee, hide, vanish. But Alina's presence was commanding, bold, almost daring me to respond. Vanessa's hand squeezed mine. Her eyes were calm but electric. You answer. You own it. I swallowed hard, every heartbeat loud in my ears. Michael.
I.
I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I started, voice quivering, a mixture of Alex's hesitation and Alina's forced poise. I became Alina because of circumstances, and Vanessa helped me accept it. Michael's eyebrows knit, confusion and shock battling in his expression. Circumstances? You're a girl now. Tears pricked my eyes. Yes, I'm Alina now. I know it's shocking. I didn't plan for it. But this is me. The words trembled out, but they carried truth. Alina's gaze met Michael's, confident yet vulnerable. Alex's heart hammered beneath, terrified of judgment, exposure, and rejection. Vanessa stepped forward, voice firm but soothing. Alina made a choice. She's not hiding.
She's not ashamed.
You can choose to accept her or not. But she is real. Michael took a step back, processing. His eyes softened slightly.
I don't know what to say.
This is a lot. I nodded, shoulders shaking slightly.
I know.
I just needed to tell you.
To be honest.
To face it. A silence fell, thick and heavy, as the city skylines sparkled behind us. Every glance felt loaded, every heartbeat deafening. Alina stood, radiant and trembling, poised and vulnerable, a living paradox. Then Michael's expression shifted. You're still you, aren't you? His voice was softer now, tinged with concern and curiosity. I hesitated, looking at the reflection of Alina in the rooftop glass. Alex felt buried beneath layers of silk, blush, and carefully applied makeup, but a spark of identity remained, intertwined with Alina's strength. I'm still me, I whispered. But I'm also Alina now.
And
I don't know where one ends and the other begins. Vanessa's hand on my back was grounding. That's the truth. And it's enough. You faced it, and now it's time to live it. Michael smiled faintly, stepping closer, but the calm was broken by a sudden notification on Vanessa's phone. Her eyes widened, a flash of urgency replacing her composed demeanor. They're coming for you. And this time, Alina, there's no hiding. The rooftop suddenly felt smaller, every shadow heavier, every heartbeat a countdown. Alina's reflection stared back, unwavering, and I realized the private confrontation was just the beginning. Everything I'd fought to control, the attention, the thrill, the fear, collapsed into a single moment of decision. The city lights stretched below us, glittering like distant stars, but the rooftop felt claustrophobic. Vanessa's grip on my hand was firm, grounding, yet every instinct screamed that tonight would decide everything. They're here, Vanessa whispered, her eyes scanning the edge of the terrace. Shadows moved, figures approaching with purpose, some familiar, some unknown. This was no longer about charm or beauty. This was survival, exposure, and identity. I swallowed, heels threatening to betray me, every step trembling. Alina's poise tried to dominate, while Alex's panic screamed from beneath the surface. The duality within me waged a war I couldn't ignore. Vanessa's voice broke through. Alina, this is it. You've transformed, you've faced the world, and now you choose. Fully. Are you Alina, or are you Alex? I looked into the mirrors lining the rooftop walls. Alina stared back, confident, radiant, alive. Alex's reflection lingered, anxious, uncertain. My chest tightened, thoughts swirling. Could I abandon Alex entirely? Could I fully embrace Alina and leave my old self behind? Figures stepped closer, reporters, acquaintances, a few authority figures who had learned about the transformation through Vanessa's careful orchestration. They weren't just spectators, they were judges, witnesses to the ultimate decision. A voice broke through the tension. It was Michael. Whatever you decide, we'll see the real you. And maybe that's enough. Tears pricked my eyes, but Alina's presence surged forward. I choose Alina, I said, voice trembling but firm. Alex isn't gone, but Alina is me now.
And I
accept it. Vanessa smiled, a mix of pride and relief. Good. That's the courage of someone who knows themselves. Own it. Live it. The approaching crowd hesitated, whispers rippling. But Alina didn't falter. I stepped forward, every click of my heels a declaration. The thrill, the fear, the power, it all coalesced. Alex's anxiety didn't vanish, but Alina's confidence carried the weight. Then, an unexpected voice called out from the edge of the terrace. Alina or Alex, you've changed, yes. But the world isn't always kind. Can you face them without Vanessa? The challenge hit me like a wave. Vanessa had guided, protected, and manipulated me to this point. Now, the real test was alone, exposed, and utterly public. My reflection in the mirrors flickered. Alina poised, Alex trembling, and the world waiting. I swallowed, feeling every heartbeat resonate through my chest. I can, I whispered. And then, stepping fully into the open, I faced the approaching crowd without hesitation. Every eye watched, every whisper filled the air. But Alina didn't falter. Just as the tension peaked, a sudden shout from behind me froze the moment. Someone from my past, someone I thought would never see me like this, stepped forward, pointing, disbelief and recognition blazing in their eyes. Alex, is that really you? Alina's smile faltered for just a heartbeat, the duality of identity crashing together. The city lights reflected in the mirrors, blending two lives into one. And in that suspended moment, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. The world had seen me. Every secret, every transformation, and now I had to face the consequences, alone or as Alina. The city skylines stretched endlessly beyond the rooftop, but it no longer felt like a backdrop. It felt like a stage. Every pair of eyes that had turned toward me during the reveal lingered in my mind. I stood there, Alina fully formed, the heels firm beneath me, the silk dress smooth against my skin, and my pulse still racing from the confrontation. Vanessa's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, a silent promise that she was there, but the real test was mine alone. She whispered, "You've faced the world. Now live in it. Decide your path fully." The first figure approached, Michael. His expression had softened, a mixture of curiosity, admiration, and tentative acceptance. "Alina, you're incredible. Honestly." I smiled, a shaky, radiant smile. "Thank you for seeing me." But the relief was fleeting. More whispers, more glances, more judgmental stares from those who didn't understand. Some smiled warmly, some laughed under their breath, and some just stared, stunned into silence. Every reaction was a mirror reflecting the duality within me, Alex's fear, Alina's confidence. Then a familiar, threatening voice pierced the air. "So, this is the famous Alina." Mrs. Callahan stepped forward, her eyes sharp and calculating. "Beautiful. But remember, beauty alone won't protect you from reality." A chill ran down my spine. Reality, the real consequences of transformation, was finally settling in. Vanessa squeezed my shoulder, her calm presence a shield. "Ignore her. You're Alina now. Live it. Own it." I took a deep breath, feeling every heartbeat, every tremor in my body, every conflicting emotion. The applause, the whispers, the camera flashes, they no longer intimidated me. Alina had survived, thrived, and embraced the spotlight. Then came the twist, the one I hadn't anticipated. Ryan stepped forward, offering a hand with a smile that was both gentle and inviting. "I want to know you, Alina. Not the past, not Alex. Just you." The invitation was intoxicating, terrifying, and exhilarating all at once. Alex's hesitation whispered in my mind, warning me of vulnerability, exposure, and potential heartbreak. But Alina's thrill surged, acceptance, attention, and perhaps connection. I reached out, letting Alina's hand meet his, feeling the electricity of possibility spark through me. "Yes, I want that too." Vanessa's smile was faint, almost imperceptible, a mix of pride and something darker, something that hinted at control yet relinquished it entirely. She whispered, "You've chosen wisely. Now live fully." Just as I felt a rush of triumph, a sudden notification on Vanessa's phone made her stiffen. Her eyes widened. Alina, there's someone outside, someone who knows everything. And they're not coming for compliments. The rooftop suddenly felt smaller, every shadow heavier, every heartbeat a countdown. Alina's reflection in the mirror was radiant, confident, but the past, the secrets, and the inevitable consequences loomed larger than ever. Everything I thought I knew about myself shattered in a single moment, and Alina had to decide: fight, flee, or finally embrace her new life. The shadows at the edge of the rooftop lengthened as Vanessa's phone buzzed again. Her face, usually composed, showed an unfamiliar tension. "They're here," she whispered. "And this time, they won't leave without answers." My heart pounded. Every instinct screamed to flee, to tear off the dress, escape the heels, and reclaim Alex. But Alina's presence held me steady. Confident, radiant, poised, she would face the storm, whether Alex was ready or not. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, authoritative, eyes sharp and unyielding. It was someone I never expected. My father. Shock rooted me in place. Alex's fear surged, mingling with Alina's boldness. I had hidden from him for so long. Now, the confrontation was unavoidable. "Alex, or should I say Alina," he began, voice cold but tinged with confusion. "Explain. How did this happen? And why didn't you tell me?" Alina's reflection in the mirror held firm. I stepped forward, heels clicking sharply, every movement deliberate. I'm Alina now," I said, voice strong yet trembling. "Alex is still part of me, but this is who I am today. And I accept it." My father's eyes narrowed, disbelief and hurt flashing. "You chose this? You let Vanessa." "She guided me," I interrupted, taking a deep breath. "Yes, she helped me, but the choice was mine. I faced the world as Alina. I embraced it. And now I'm telling you the truth." Silence fell, heavy and suffocating. Every heartbeat felt magnified, every breath a countdown. The city lights reflected in the mirrors, blending Alex's fear with Alina's radiance, creating a single, unstoppable presence. Then came a flicker of understanding in my father's eyes. I don't fully understand," he admitted, voice softening. "But I see you. Both of you. And I respect that." Relief surged, mingled with a strange, new confidence. Alina's poise didn't waver. Alex's anxiety still lingered, but it was tempered by acceptance, validation, and the thrill of survival. Vanessa stepped forward, her gaze sharp but proud. This is Alina's world now. She decides, she controls, and she lives fully. The tension broke, replaced by a mixture of triumph, exhilaration, and lingering suspense. Alina's transformation was complete, not just in appearance, but in courage, identity, and self-acceptance. As I breathed in, savoring the moment, Vanessa's expression shifted slightly, pride mixed with something unreadable. Her phone buzzed again. She glanced down, eyes narrowing. "Alina, congratulations. You've faced everything. But someone knows. And they're coming." The rooftop felt infinite, the city stretching endlessly beneath me. Alina stood tall, radiant, confident, but the future was uncertain. The duality of identity had been tested, and I had chosen Alina, yet the world still held secrets, challenges, and consequences. I raised my chin, heels firm beneath me, and whispered to the reflection in the mirror. "I am Alina. And whatever comes, I'll face it." The city lights shimmered, mirrors reflecting a girl who had embraced herself fully, leaving Alex's fear behind, but aware that life's next challenge was already on the horizon.